Now, despite what the radical left and some in the legacy media mob are saying, some of whom are actively rooting against our own country, what they're trying to tell you is Iran is absolutely not winning this war. This is madness on their part. In fact, much of the country's military, it has been decimated, as we just played the president saying. They are flailing. And as Victor Davis Hanson says in a new column, Iran is losing this war. They're losing it badly. And the global balance of power is now shifting. He's a senior fellow at the Hoover Institution. Victor Davis Hanson is here. I have a hard, is it that they can't give credit to one of the most successful, historically speaking, military operations ever in history? They just don't want to give this man any credit?
Well, I think it's not a military problem, it's a political. They feel that by the negotiations going on, that gets us closer and closer to the midterms, and they can say the price of gas is higher and the war is not resolved, so therefore it's Trump's fault. And so, you know, and even though empirically there is no really a command and control left of the original one, militarily they're flattened. The only question is, we don't want to go in there with ground troops and fight their type of war to have regime change, so we're strangling them, and it's going to take another 2 or 3 weeks. And they don't think that we have it. The Iranians don't, based on their listening to the American left and the European left. But in a wider sense, really quickly, Sean, the world has changed from the post-war order. China has lost its subsidized oil that it bought from sanctioned countries like Venezuela and Iran. Russia's out of the Middle East. It's lost both Syria and Iran. It's tied down in a slog in Ukraine for 4 years. The United States has shown China that if it wants to go across 110 miles to Taiwan, it's going to do so under a swarm of missiles and drones, both aerial and marine. And I don't think they're going to want to land 300,000 people and against the kind of conditions they've seen the United States can apply to them. So in a geostrategic sense, it's been very positive for the United States. It's really changed the whole world order. And with the UAE getting out of OPEC, 50 years of OPEC dominance, all those members, the 23 members, they are only pumping 70 to 80% of their capacity. If they want to go up to 100 to capitalize on this spike, they could. Venezuela's coming back on the market, slowly, but back on the market. And so long term, it's very favorable to the United States.
So you have the radical left, the legacy media mob, the head-in-the-sand isolationist movement. So their option, their choice would be to do nothing, and your kids inherit a nuclear-armed Iran with their radical Islamo-fascist mentality, death to America, death to Israel. That's their choice?
Well, that's been the choice of the last 7 presidents. It's just so it doesn't happen on my watch. So either give them money by night, send in pallets of cash, or, you know, just ignore what they've done to us in Afghanistan and Iraq when they use the shape charges, or you name it. No president has ever wanted to get near Iran. They had this hyper-inflated reputation of being indomitable and fearsome and terrifying. And everybody said, you can go in the Middle East, but get away from Iran. They're crazy. They're too strong. But so this is new. This is the first president that said, you know, I don't really believe they're invincible. I think it's all a myth. And I think they're very dangerous. And after 7 presidencies, they're getting very, very close. Time has run out. It's now or never. And people had said to him, well, you're going to take a greatest risk of your presidency because the midterms are coming up and the price of gas will go up. And he took that risk. And I think he can pull it off still. But it was a great risk that no other president would have done. They didn't.
Every source that I have, every person that would know at the highest level have all said to me the same thing based on information they didn't provide to me, but information that they have. The president had no choice. Steve Witkoff on this program said they had enough 60% enriched uranium in less than 12 days that could be weapons grade, and we learned that their ballistic missile range was far greater than we thought. They could hit Paris, they can hit London. So I just don't really think the president had a choice except to let him have nuclear technology, which I don't think is a choice.
No, it isn't. Although some people in Europe and some people on the left thought it was, but it's not. If they had nuclear weapons, they'd have a sword of Damocles over all the Gulf nations and all of Israel, and they would dictate the entire traffic in the Strait of Hormuz. And if we said anything, they would keep saying week after week, do you want to lose San Francisco, LA, except just like North Korea, but on steroids. So we didn't have a choice, but it was a big gamble because the economy is all set to boom. All it needs is this missing ingredient of what we had were low gas prices. And Donald Trump can still pull it off because I think in 2 or 3 weeks, they're going to be strangled, the economy, and they'll have to negotiate. Or if they don't want to negotiate, he can always use the kinetic option and then just say, you know what, I'm going to neuter their nuclear ability from the air as much as I can and their oil revenues as much as I can. And that'll set them back 5 or 6 years. But he's got all the options in the world. They have none, really.
Victor Davis Hanson, you're back. You're stronger than ever. We're glad to have you. Thank you for being with us. All right, thanks for watching. Check out my new podcast, Hanging Out with me, Sean Hannity. The big interviews, the debates you won't get anywhere else. Like and subscribe for new episodes every Tuesday and Thursday.